first I figure we could start with how we first got connected. And I think it's really a funny story.
Yeah.
With, I don't know if you remember the Food Connections dinner.
Yeah.
You were the first and actually only person that bid on the training package that I put up. And I would love to hear your thoughts on when you saw that and maybe what made you want to take action on it in the first place. Because you hadn't been doing striking or Muay Thai prior to that.
No. I was just cruising through those silent auction things and I'd never, exactly because I'd never done that before, I thought it would be cool to try it out. And, years ago I was really, really heavy. I was a good 160 or something like that pounds heavier than I am now. And I dropped all that weight to the dangerously underweight shape that I'm in now. But I did all that with I was really just plodding on cardio, just endurance, day after day after day, which gets a little boring. I mean, it does what it needs to do, but I thought that would be fun and interesting, and it was. And you're such a relentlessly positive person, make Tony Robbins look like Eeyore or something, that it's really addictive to be around, or it's really helpful and fun to be around all that positive energy. And, exercising really hard can be really hard and uncomfortable and stuff. And it's very helpful, I think, to have that good attitude and do things that are, totally different and out of my usual sitting on the elliptical for 1,000,000 hours in the winter or biking, all day long in the summer, both of which are great and I keep doing, but I feel like it's very helpful, and it's really helpful, the attitude and the different skills and the different methods and sort of holistic approach that you take to all that. And so I've really gotten a lot out of it, and I continue to stick with your program.
Yeah, and I appreciate all the trust from day one, and really just everything I've thrown at you, you've gone with, and not even kind of speaking of which, not only what I've brought to the table, but what you've reinforced and invited in me, and what even brings us to here, being in Joshua Tree, being on this retreat, inviting me to expand my mind and be able to support we can continuously grow and be able to do different things, and you being on board with that, and even again bringing us here to say, hey, we have this opportunity to make a wellness retreat, and coming out, and we had a trip prior, and I appreciate you were down to take that trip and coming back here. And that's why I wanted to create this experience and this wellness retreat where, again, if we're feeling mundane in our routine, we need a little shake up, and also being able to create a community of other people. We get to come together and be able to have that positivity, because life isn't always easy. Life isn't always positive. And as an entrepreneur and as someone that deals with stress and has life variables, it's a really powerful thing from my experience. And that's why, because you've had quite a few different experiences, from the canyon ranches of the world to the maybe different types of resorts, and being able to have this. I'd love to hear your thoughts after now having the experience for the week. What was it like? Maybe some of the takeaways that you enjoyed and some of the things that stuck out to you.
Right. Well, I think probably first of all, you hit on the thing that really resonates to me, or one thing in particular that resonates is really just being around the people that all have sort of a shared goal, but coming from different directions. So I can feel like I can learn from someone who's an artist in the Upper West Side of New York, or I can learn about striking from someone who's a video person, and just be in a completely different environment with people that you don't see day to day, but you all have sort of different experiences and different things that I can learn from, and love to participate in that sort of group dynamic and ongoing conversation and making sort of a stew of ideas and thoughts and stuff, and it's a good reset. It's like you said, it's exercise and food and all that stuff can be kind of it's easy for that to slide into a drag for me. You're just like, oh man, I can't have any more cookies, and got to get back to the gym, and it's 30 degrees and drizzling, and it's not as exciting all the time. So it's great to have a recharge and a reset. And this is a great place. Obviously, all you do is look around, and it couldn't be any more different from where we live the rest of the year, just totally stark. May as well be on the moon for all the differences, which I think is really helpful to take you out of your head and get you in the moment, and think about what is really important, and reconceptualize things that could be a drag into being, really fun and positive, and what can you learn from all of this. And the crew that you put together again is super fun. Couldn't be better, you know. Yeah, I mean, and I've spent plenty of time at super high end fitness related resorts, and I've sat in the basement of a Gold's Gym and done that too. And you know, you get something out of all of them. But this is great to be in a small group of really focused, interested people.
Yeah, and one thing I wonder too, because you have a very busy life, right? You have not only the professional responsibilities, personal responsibilities. I know that's something that resonates with me, and I'm sure people when they watch this, they're like, "Ah, yeah, that sounds great," but I'm too busy. I like, how do you? So I wonder, even in your life, and we've talked about this even in other conversations, creating the time for this, and I wonder how do you do that honestly? And obviously that's a very deep conversation, but even in the more condensed version of it, how does that work in your life? And even would you recommend people do that? Because maybe that's not for everyone, making the time to do things like this.
Yeah, um, you know, I think if I don't make some time to do a reset like this, I'll suffer in the long run and get a. It's easy for me to slip into a bad attitude and about work or whatever, and it's just a plot sometimes if I let it get that way. So I feel like it really to get away and do a retreat like this is more helpful than it is a time drain. It'll make me more effective, you know, as time goes by, and you know I'll just bounce out and go answer emails and stuff or whatever, do some work here for an hour or two here and there when I need to, and you know I can get that done really quickly. Whereas if I was just sitting at home, it might take me half a day to get around to doing some of that stuff because it's just another thing to get through. But I want to knock it out and get back to doing our fun stuff here. So I don't really feel like it's a huge time drain for me even in the medium term. Really, I mean, you got to take a day to travel on the either end or something. But you know, I feel like it, you know, vastly makes up for it in terms of my effectiveness and just enjoyment of life and not being getting a rut. You know, sometimes I can take a rut, decorate it, make it home, and I want to try to get out of that space if I can. You know.
So the point you make of knowing the impact this can have, and that's something I want to invite everyone to realize and think about, is just because we are on a retreat doesn't mean that you have to completely dislike. There is Wi-Fi here, and we do have the opportunity. I go through emails and take care of work, and there is that dynamic of it where it's going to be a different experience for everyone. You can make it what you want, and obviously we have an itinerary, we have structure to it, we have menus, but it doesn't have to be a rigid, this is exactly what we have to do. Even after this, we're gonna go get a workout in. We can go to the park later. That's a beautiful thing, taking advantage of the amazing environment and scenery around us, and eventually being able to then having this be at different locations and having different things. And the one thing I wonder is if someone's watching and they're on the fence about it, and if they're thinking, you know, that sounds great, and hey, even for the positivity of it, but I'm worried about even the fitness level. Because listen, you're in great shape, Woody. Like the ability to be able to bike 50 miles and do that might be intimidating for a lot of people. So I wonder, even because at a different point in your journey, you weren't doing that.
No.
And you were maybe just starting at the basis. So I wonder your thoughts, because I'll speak from the coach perspective. At any level, we will meet you where you're at. We will curate it and customize it to your level of fitness, is also flavor. So if you have any gluten sensitivities, things in the menu, we can adapt. But I wonder from your perspective, not only here, but going through your own journey, inviting upon people, or maybe not, that, hey, do I need to get in shape first before I do this? Or is it okay for me to not be at an elite level of fitness?
It's probably much better.
Right.
I mean, in a way, because you're going to make it fun and challenging, but fun and exciting and interesting and entertaining. You know, I mean, the more elite of an athlete somebody is, you know, the more they probably know what they're doing, you know.
Right.
I mean, it's probably more helpful if you're kind of starting out or getting going again or something like that. I mean, you know, I think when I was really out of shape, I spent way too much time just by myself, like not really wanting to talk about it with anybody, and quietly sitting in the corner on the elliptical for, you know, hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, thousands of hours probably over years. And I think to me, it would be a much better way to get on a journey or get back on the train with a fun group and with exciting coaches and with the food and all these other things that you can participate in at the level that you want to go at. And I had any number of Oreos this week.
Yeah. And so that to that point, I think that's a really great point. People I think can have this misillusion that, oh, I have to leave all my favorite foods and items and activities behind. And that's, from my experience of it, is like the furthest thing from the truth. Whether it's, hey, if we enjoy some cookies, doesn't mean we're gonna eat an entire bag, but we find ways. And even this week, we had ice cream,
Yeah,
we had creme brulee, we had cheesecake, we had these items that you don't necessarily associate. And that doesn't mean that there's not ways we've adapted it and increased protein, lowered sugar. And these are some tools we also invite people to bring home with them. And what we talk about, like, I know you love ice cream, so
yeah,
even continuously playing with how do we make it where we can have protein in that, or the different things we work on and the principles that carry what makes it sustainable and also enjoyable. Because if you're miserable, no matter where we are in the world, what retreat we're on, if you're not enjoying it, you're not enjoying the food or the activities, it's not going to work. And even in the day-to-day life. So that's something I wanted to just echo that I'm hearing you say, and that we work a lot on, is being able to enjoy the food, enjoy the training as much as possible, and being able to reestablish our relationship to those things and our habits as well.
yeah. Really, the food program that your group has put together is paramount. Really, I mean, to have a great meal that that is satisfying and nutritious and gonna fuel you up so you don't feel like you're dying after you get into a workout or just through the day. I think that's probably 50% of the dealers. I mean, it's a huge component of the overall, just of like your whole life in general. Really, I don't think about it a lot of the time. Honestly, I don't really want to think about it. Sometimes it's great to bring that out and to have it not be just about denial. Just don't eat that Ben and Jerry's or whatever. And sometimes it's easy to drift into that way of thinking about it. And I feel like the way you put this together, the food program together, is tremendously helpful.
I appreciate that. And honestly, I appreciate you taking the time as well. And speaking of which, I know we're going to get a workout in, so we're probably going to hydrate and then get ready to kick some butt and be able to just keep the fun coming home.
Yeah,
And we'll see you guys next year, hopefully, too.
right on.
Yeah, Woody.
Looking forward to it.
Likewise.